Hi TechWork, it's Natalie from Circuit Recruitment again, and welcome to another installment of Landing a Job 101. In this series, I'll be sharing one tip per video, taking you slowly through the whole process involved with landing yourself a new role. In my previous video, I talked about how to sharpen your communication skills for interviews. So if you're not feeling super confident or English is your second language, then head over to my YouTube channel to view that and a few more episodes of this series. Now in today's video, I want to cover something that my friend Nandini actually asked me to talk about. She actually commented on my last video and she asked me, Natalie, what do you do when the interviewer asks, so do you have any questions for us? This is an absolutely fantastic question, Nandini, so thank you so much for the recommendation. And a lot of people don't realize the trap that can be that question. Believe it or not, there actually are some questions you might want to ask here that won't make you look very good to some employers. And not having anything prepared at all can make you look just as bad as asking the wrong thing. So how do you make sure that you're prepared to ask the right questions? Keep watching to find out. First, let's start with what not to say. And some of these questions might surprise you. Firstly, you don't want to be asking what the job entails. And the reason for this might surprise you as well. It's incredibly important for you to be doing your research before the interview and for the recruiter who talked to you about this role to be briefing you on what the role's all about. You should already actually have a bit of an understanding of the role and what's expected. If you go into the job interview completely blind, it's going to reflect a little bit badly on you and definitely reflect badly on the recruiter. Another question you want to avoid asking is, so what does your company do? The reason for this is exactly the same as the reason for not asking the previous question I mentioned. You want to come across well-researched, like you already know what the company is all about, and this will help you make a really good first impression. Another question you want to try and avoid is asking whether there are any other jobs open. You don't want to look like you're fishing around for other opportunities in the organization when you're up for one particular one. The people in front of you want to feel as though you're invested in the opportunity you're interviewing for. There's a big difference between asking whether any other jobs are open and asking them whether they have career progression opportunities within this role. One shows a lack of investment and the other shows an interest in growth. Now, you would have heard this time and time again, but given this is a tips and tricks video, I have to include it, but do not ask about pay or promotions. You are completely jumping the gun. That is not what the interview is there for. All negotiations on that front can be done later on, and you just don't want to come across like that's all you care about. The last question I want you to avoid is asking about benefits and vacation days and sick leave and all that sort of stuff. Once again, it is just jumping the gun. That's the kind of stuff you can learn about a little bit later, and it's just not appropriate for an interview situation. Overall, in terms of don'ts, try and keep in mind the following. Do not ask about any information that can be easily found with a quick Google search or your own research. Try and delineate between what you need to know now in order to figure out whether you're going to be invested in this opportunity and anything that you can work out later, like salaries, schedules, job details, like salaries, schedules, or benefits. Try not to jump the gun on anything and just use your common sense. All right, so let's move on to some great questions that you can ask. But before we get stuck into specific examples, I want to start by asking you a question. What do you want to find out about this particular team or company that you're interviewing for? You actually have to do a little bit of reflection first and ask yourself, what do I want to get out of this conversation? Because the right questions to ask will depend on what you want to know. I know that sounds like common sense, but it's a really good starting place for you to get your footing. Now, in saying that, here are some really good examples of questions that you want to ask that'll help you investigate different things about the company and the role that you're working on securing. Now, if you want to learn more about the role and the expectations, you can ask questions like, tell me a little bit about why this position has become available. What does a typical day in this role look like? What are the 3 key qualities that someone needs to shine in this kind of role? When you consider fantastic employees who have done this work previously, what sets those who are good apart from those who are great? And how long do you think it might take for somebody who's getting started to get up and running in this position? If you want to learn a little bit more about the leadership style of the team that you're going to be in, you can ask questions like, how would you describe your leadership style? Or pose them with a scenario, like if a staff member comes to you with a problem, how do you usually address that sort of stuff? How do you delegate tasks within your team? What are the team's KPIs and how do you monitor individual performance of these team members? And if you want to know a little bit more about the team, you can ask questions like, would I be working in a small or large team? Who would I be reporting to and what would my contact with that person look like? How would you describe the dynamics of the team I'd be working with? Is there any mentorship dynamics within the team? And will I be set up with a mentor or a buddy for the first little while that I'm with you guys? If company culture is important to you and that's something you want to pry into during the interview process, then you can ask questions like, why did you join the company and how long have you been here? How would you describe the workplace culture? What do you enjoy about working here? What would the staff say are the most challenging parts about working here in this team? Or what do you think makes people want to continue working at this company? If training and development is going to be a big priority to you, then these are the types of questions you should be asking to work out whether this is something you want. What types of professional development opportunities are on offer here? If I was offered this role, is there any training that you think I would need to undertake immediately or something I can do over my notice period to upskill? What do you imagine career paths and career growth will look like in this kind of role? How do you help your team members grow and develop professionally? And can you tell me about your performance review process? And if you want to gain a little bit of insights into where the company is heading in the future, you might want to ask questions like, what is the company's strategic plan for the next 12 months and how will this impact my role? And if you want to show that you're proactive, then you can ask them, is there anything else that you need from me to help you make your decision? Or is there anything that we haven't discussed that you think would be important for me to know about working here? Now, I got a lot of those questions just from the Seek website and just a little bit of Googling. So if you're still unsure about what questions to ask, I'm sure ChatGPT will be able to help you out. Now, if you still have some questions that you do want to ask, but you're just not sure how to go about asking them, feel free to either DM me or pop it in the comments, and I'd be happy to help you rephrase it. My very last bit of advice is to make sure that you trust your gut. If you don't like the answers that you're getting from the hiring manager, then this role might not make you happy in the long run. On a personal level, I remember interviewing for quite a few recruitment roles before I got started in this industry. And when I got the chance to ask my questions, I didn't like all of the answers that I got. Some of the answers made me feel really anxious and nervous. In hindsight, that was actually my gut flaring up and telling me that I wasn't going to be happy in these roles. And I'm really so glad that I listened to my inner voice. I can still remember like it was yesterday that feeling that I got when I met my current boss and he was answering the questions that I had for him. I felt a massive smile spread across my face and I just couldn't control it, and that's how I knew I wanted a job at Circuit. Just remember, no recruiter can make you do anything that you don't want to do, so trust your gut and arm yourself with the answers that you need before making any decisions. Finding a new role is never easy, but if you make sure you're asking the right questions to the right people, you'll definitely increase your chances of being happy in your next role. Let me know if there's anything I've missed in the comments, because I'm definitely open to making more videos like this. And remember, this video actually came as a recommendation to me, so if you have anything you want covered off, I'm more than happy to talk about any topics that you want me to cover off. You can view the rest of my videos in this series on my YouTube channel, which I will link in the video's description. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye.